Welcome again in the next lecture of certificate course on the instrumental analysis and the techniques in the chemistry. In this present session, we will discuss all about the different safety measures which are generally been required to be followed, to be maintained in all the chemistry department in any of the institution, whether they are the school or the colleges or the universities, everywhere these safety measures to be adopted. And we all chemistry department faculty teachers, including the lab attendant, the teacher, the sweepers, everyone must have the complete knowledge about the pro and cons of the chemicals or the instruments or the glasswares which are generally being used in the chemistry laboratory, because these are the essential part of the teaching and learning in all the institutions. We must always be active and aware for the developing, maintaining, and the enhancement of the quality of the laboratories. We must always be tried for the betterment of the chemistry laboratory. That all been includes the safety measures, the safety aids which are generally being present in the chemistry laboratory, along with the safe experimental experiences is very important for the students. The chemistry laboratories are prone to accident. Any accident may occur at any of the time, at any of the cost. So it is very important for all the teachers to make the student, the lab attendant, the sweepers, all other department faculty, teachers, the society, all persons which generally visit in the chemistry department, all must have the knowledge or must aware about the different safety measures to be taken in the chemistry laboratory and the different first aid practices. If any of the chemical fall on your skin, fall on your mouth, if any of the chemical generally been inhaled by chance, then what we can do, what first aid practice generally to be taken. So we will discuss about all these in today's session, in today's lecture. You can see what will happen in what will be happen, yeah, which can happen, what can happen in the chemistry laboratory at any of the time. The different chemicals, the vapors in liquid form, in solid form, or in gaseous form, they generally can affect our eyes in the vapors form, in liquid form or the solid form, is if they generally been inhaled by us. If the different chemicals, they generally fall on our skin, at any part of the skin, the primary protective barrier of our body, that is the skin, which may get affected. Now we can discuss the different points. If there occurs something cuts or the bleeding, if that particular bleeding is minor one, then what preventive measure can be taken? Let it bleed for the few seconds, then wash it with water, pat dry, apply a disinfectant, followed by an ointment, or apply the dilute ferric chloride solution or the tincture iodine on it. But if the cut or the bleeding is major one, then wash the disinfectant area. Try stop bleeding by applying something pressure on the wound. Then consult a doctor immediately. The general cases of cut bleeding is generally been seen in the laboratory whenever the student is holding an apparatus, applying something pressure on the apparatus, generally introducing the different type of condenser in it. When they are scratching the beaker during the crystallization process, when they are holding the stalagmometer, the viscometer, or the pipette on the stand, during all these steps, there something breakage of the glass apparatus, and these glass apparatus generally cuts the skin, may cause the bleeding, that may be the minor or the very severe one. So during that we must have to follow these preventive measures. Sometime what will happen, the students are not aware about the holding of different glass apparatus. For example, just I am consulting with you, I am just telling you about all these. If any of the student is not listening my whole of the lecture, then he will not be aware about all these. So that particular incidents may takes place with that particular student. So at these key points, where a particular teacher discuss with the students, all student must be aware, सभी के सभी स्टूडेंट्स को उस वक्त पूरे अवेयर रहना चाहिए कि दे मस्ट हैव, उनके अंदर से एक आवाज आनी चाहिए कि हमें ये लेक्चर सुनना ही है, हमें इन सारी चीजों के बारे में अवेयर होना ही है. तो every student must have something curiosity to know all about these pro and cons of the apparatus, chemicals, instruments. Otherwise any of the incidents may take place at any of the time. But if that particular accident occurs, for example the cut or the bleeding occurs, then what we can do, हम उस वक्त क्या करें? So we must have the complete knowledge about all these. So please note down all these points. Next, if there occurs something burn may be of different type. That may be the chemical burn, that may be the fire burn. Burns may be of different type. If the burn is minor one, then wash the tap water, wash it with tap water followed by the ice cooled water, or use the ice pack and then apply the suitable antiseptic cream like the betadine, Burnol, etc. Or you can apply the sodium chloride paste or their slurry and then apply the wet gauze or the cloth on it. If the burn is major one, then wash it with tap water as during the minor one, followed by the ice cooled water. Keep it dipped in ice cooled water, then immediately contact and consult with the doctor. The heating solvents like the ethanol can easily catch fire. We generally instruct all the students can never heat the organic solvents directly on the flame because they are highly inflammable. When the vapors comes out from the apparatus, from the test tube, from the beakers, then these vapors will directly come in contact with the burner on which you are heating that particular glass apparatus. That may leads to the fire. But many of the students, in spite of these all instructions, when they are not following these instructions, then these fire accident may happens in the laboratory. So due to that reason, we all chemistry teachers, the lab attendant must be present in the laboratory. So that is the reason in the chemistry department laboratory, in each of the laboratory, there must be at least one lab attendant. केमिस्ट्री लेबोरेटरी के अंदर, हर केमिस्ट्री लेबोरेटरी के अंदर कम से कम एक लैब अटेंडेंट का होना जरूरी है. अदरवाइज एनी ऑफ द फायर इंसिडेंट्स, द केमिकल इंसिडेंट्स, chemical accident, fire accident may occur at any of the time, at any of the cost. So none can deny about that. कोई भी इसको डिनाई भी नहीं कर सकता कि केमिस्ट्री लेबोरेटरी के अंदर कम से कम एक लैब अटेंडेंट का होना जरूरी है, ताकि जो भी केमिकल्स, इंस्ट्रूमेंट, अप्लायंसेस, कोई भी चीज की whenever there is a requirement during the experimentation process, there must be an laboratory attendant to provide all these to the students. Otherwise, if there is no laboratory attendant, if the students are taking all these on their own because they do not have the complete knowledge, but the laboratory attendant have the complete knowledge, one basic fact that must always be followed by all the institutions, that never change the chemistry laboratory attendant. क्योंकि जो केमिस्ट्री लेबोरेटरी के अंदर जो अटेंडेंट होता है उसको बड़ी मुश्किल से तैयार किया जाता है बाय द केमिस्ट्री टीचर्स. उसको डेली समझा के, बता के, सारी बातों के बारे में उसको मुश्किल से तैयार किया जाता है। अगर उसको चेंज कर दिया जाए तो इट इज ए वेरी डिफिकल्ट टास्क टू प्रिपेयर एन अनदर वन। तो इसीलिए काफी समय लगता है उसको तैयार करने में। तो इट मस्ट बी kept in mind by all the authorities to take in mind that never change a chemistry laboratory attendant। और उसको एक पर्टिकुलर लैब दे देनी चाहिए कि दैट इज योर लैब, कैपिटलाइज उसको अच्छा रखें अपने स्टूडेंट्स के लिए। तो वो अपनी लैब को अपने तरीके से मैनेज करेगा, उसको बिल्कुल अच्छे से मैनेज करके तैयार करके रखेगा, किस अप्लायंस को, किस केमिकल को किस टाइप से रखना है, कहाँ रखना है, उसको कंप्लीट नॉलेज होगी उसकी, हर केमिकल की, हर एपरेटस की। तो ये चीज भी मैंने साथ के साथ यहाँ पे उसको क्लिक किया है। But many of the time it is to be found that when we heat any of the appliance in the china dish also, तो उस वक्त होता क्या है, यानी जो चाइना डिश में भी जब हम हीट करते हैं तो उस वक्त वो ओपन होता है। तो उसके अंदर बेटा मेन चीज ये ध्यान रखनी है, कभी भी ऑर्गेनिक सॉल्वेंट को ओपन के अंदर, और जब भी आपके डायरेक्ट फ्लेम के ऊपर, तो कभी आप उसको हीट करें ही ना, उसको आपको हीट नहीं करना है। अदरवाइज फायर एक्सीडेंट विल श्योरली बीन हैपेंड, वो जरूर होगा। फ्लामेबल लिक्विड अगर हम ले लें तो कीप द मैच स्टिक एंड द अदर फ्लामेबल सब्सटेंसेस ऑलवेज अवे फ्रॉम, यूज नॉन इनफ्लामेबल absorbent pads or the inert absorbent powder or the best जो भी कुछ हो सकता है। द cheapest one is the sand to suppress the vapors, वो लेबोरेटरी के अंदर होने जरूरी है। आफ्टर a liquid is absorbed, place the absorbent material into a sturdy plastic bag, seal the bag and dispose of a flammable waste. The spill area then can be cleaned with the soap and the water। बेटा ये बेसिक चीज है जो हमें ध्यान रखनी ही होंगी। Never use, don't use the paper towels or the newspaper to absorb the flammable liquid, because they add the combustible material to the spill and it may lead to the catching of the fire. Other fire accident, for example, clothes, immediately lie down on the floor, roll to put off the fire, use a blanket or a wet sack to cut off the air supply। तो सबसे पहला पर्पस होता है एयर सप्लाई को कट ऑफ कर देना। If that is minor one, then switch off the burner, put the fire off by cutting off the air supplying, by covering with a wire gauze, or by using the sand or the water, whatever may be present in the nearby area। रिमूव द ऑल द फ्लामेबल मटेरियल्स फ्रॉम द विसिनिटी, उस एरिया से सभी चीजों को रिमूव कर दें। इफ दैट इंसिडेंट इज द मेजर वन, देन यूज द फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर विच जनरली बीन प्रोवाइडेड at the front of the laboratory। In order to prevent any of the major accident, always use the fire extinguishers। So all laboratory attendant, everyone must have the complete knowledge about the usability of the fire extinguishers। Then leave the laboratory immediately, stay low down while evacuating। If the room is filled with the smoke, call fire brigade immediately। What will happen? Suppose flammable solvent is present in the china dish, is catching fire। In that case, the student must tell that they actually handle this rather than getting panic। Never get panic during these type of cases। Then what? Try to cut off the oxygen supply by any way, by throwing out the sand on that area। Otherwise, there may occur a very bigger fire accident। In case of the major accident, every chemistry lab should be equipped with a fire extinguisher, as we told above। Everyone who are working in the laboratory should have complete knowledge how the fire extinguisher has to be used। There may occur the eye accident, irritation. If there occurs something irritation in the eye, then wash thoroughly the eye with the water, use chloromycetin capsules if available in the laboratory। So always keep these chemicals, these medicines in the chemistry laboratory। If an acid or the alkali come in contact with the eye, then wash thoroughly the eye with the water and then use the boric acid solution generally of 1%। If something eyepiece go into the eyes during the washing, cleaning of the glass apparatus, if any of the part go into the eye, then remove the glass gently, never rub it, and consult the doctor immediately. Sometimes we generally make some common mistakes, generally being carried by us, by our students, by any one of them. Then always wash the eyes many a time that they forget that they have having many chemicals in their hand, and they use all these with their same hand and put water on their face inside the eyes. Then what will happen? All these chemical also go into your eyes, that will be harmful for you. So to avoid all these, there must be eye washing station in the all chemistry laboratory. Alternatively, one can take the normal tap water in the reverse direction to make the water to comes in the upside direction. If there occurs something chemical spill on the skin, if that chemical is an acidic one, then wash with the tap water followed by the ice cooled water, then with the saturated sodium bicarbonate solution, which is a basic one, to neutralize the acidic component. Then again with the ice cold water, then apply the disinfectant, dry the skin and cover it with the antiseptic cream. If the acidic compound get inhaled by any of the person by in a mistaken way, then drink plenty of water followed by the milk of magnesia, which is a basic substance, or any of the antacid. Eat a lot of banana. If the chemical split on the skin is the basic one, then wash with the tap water followed by similarly the ice cold water, then the acetic acid solution to neutralize these basic components present on the skin. Then again wash it with the ice cooled water, then apply the disinfectant, dry the skin, cover it with the antiseptic cream. If the basic component get inhaled, then what we can do? Then drink plenty of water followed by the lemon juice, eat a lot of banana. If the chemicals spill on the skin, then for all the acidic and the base spills, we can use simply the acid base neutralization reaction. Keep it in mind, all these acid base neutralization reaction is if the chemical spill is from the acidic one or the basic one, then use the reverse one component to neutralize their effect. But remember, this is a exothermic reaction, so always ice must be used while performing this reaction on the human beings. For instance, if the acidic compound spill accidentally involving the phenol over the hands, which are the common among the students, as a precaution, gloves must be used while using the phenolic compounds. These are the basic apparels we have generally discussed in the start of the lecture. If the chemical spill is from the bromine, bromine is a very dangerous chemical. Under the normal temperature, it produces a lot of brown fumes. So first of all, always keep in mind, keep these all bromine bottles or the capsule in the freezer. When that is completely cooled down, then use that bromine to restrict the production of the fumes of the bromine. If these fumes, even the fumes of the bromine come in contact with the eye, then the bulging of the eye due to the weakening of the eye muscles occur. So that is very harmful effect of the bromine. So wash liberally with the ammonia solution generally of 2%, then with the ice cooled water, wipe gently with the glycerine, and then apply the antiseptic cream. Bromine spill neutralization can be done generally by the select lime, sodium carbonate, sodium thiosulfate solution, that is the Na2S2O3.5S2O, by the ammonia solution. If the salt of heavy metal been inhaled by any of the person due to any mistaken behavior, then take milk or the white of an egg, powder the charcoal tablet and take orally with the water. If the salt of the arsenic or the mercury compound get inhaled, then take emetic immediately common salt in a glass of water, powder the charcoal tablet and take orally with the water. If something poisons are not swallowed inside the mouth, spit them immediately. अगर आपने उसको अभी तक निगला नहीं है तो उसको एकदम से आप थूक दें बाहर, और फिर ऊपर जितनी बातें हमने बताई उन सारी बातों को आप फॉलो करें. Then take a spoon of active charcoal, tannic acid, and everything in a particular ratio as shown your slide. Then dissolve all these in 1/4 cup of the water and take it. If there occurs the something inhalation of the poisonous gases, then move the victim to an open space. Don't crowd around. Loosen their clothes at the neck, everywhere. Inhale dilute vapors of the ammonia or the gargle with the sodium bicarbonate solution. There is something about the sulfuric acid one. If something person is doing the experiment include which been used the sulfuric acid, if that particular sulfuric acid, and without keeping it on the sand bath, generally heat all these appliances on the sand bath, because you have nearby area, you have the sand. If something fallen, that will fall on the sand, there no incidents, no accident will occur due to these acidic substance. For the safety purpose, one must have the heat the flask uniformly by keeping it on the sand bath below it, especially while dealing with the corrosive chemicals like that of sulfuric acid. Safe cleaning, neutralize these acidic corrosive chemicals before cleaning up. Hydrofluoric acid, which is a very harmful chemical, which even corrodes the glass, can be neutralized with the calcium carbonate and commercially available hydrofluoric acid neutralizer. Use the neutralizer in powder form instead of a solution, prevent spreading the spill further. Sprinkle the powder at the edges of the spill, जहां जहां पे आपको घाव हुआ है उसके एजेस के ऊपर, ताकि वो फर्दर स्प्रेड ना हो. And even at the center, everywhere, be careful because the neutralization process can be vigorous, causing splashes and the yield large amount of the heat. The acid chlorides are water reactive, so avoid the introduction of the water in these cases, in these reactive compounds. So just add the sodium bicarbonate carefully in very small amount that can be sprinkled on the spill to neutralize their effect. Ammonia bottle, if they are left out, they are not put into the refrigerator, then what will happen? For example, if the next day in the summer season another student have to use the ammonia, he took this particular bottle and tried to open it, it came out with a very force, spilled on it their face, then what we can do? In that particular case, the ammonia, very dangerous, which generally been used in the refrigeration industry also, that is very harmful, may cause even the death also if most of their fumes inhaled by us. So what first aid to be taken at once? It should be washed sufficiently with the water. After that, they can be treated with 1% boric acid solution. But even after that, please take the victim to the doctor in case of that the condition is very serious one. In case of the ammonia getting spilled over the skin, it can be treated in the laboratory also by using the dilute solution of the acetic acid, that is the vinegar one, which is readily available in our labs. That is 1 to 2% solution of the acetic acid, or generally the up to the 10%, 6 to 10% solution of acetic acid is the vinegar. And we can also, in some cases, we can also intake of the ammonia. If something that happens, then sufficiently amount of the water should be given and the milk can be given to drink, so that there occurs something neutralization of the ammonia. Safe cleaning of the basic spills that can be done, that can be neutralized. The corrosive liquid, basic generally the citric acid, sodium bisulfate, or commercially available base neutralizer can be used. Now we will take a case of the formalin. If there is an empty water bottle along with the formalin without changing its label, if something person went into the chemistry laboratory, it kept the bottle along with his bag and start performing the experiment. If a particular person feel thirsty and drank the formalin, assuming that it is a water because of something another person negligence, so these are very serious condition. So one of the worker, while doing the whitewashing, it takes the water Before leaving the laboratory, he decided to refill the water with any another colorless liquid, that is formalin one. He don't know about that particular liquid. He just see that is a colorless liquid. He understood that that particular liquid is a water. He just refilled the bottle by understanding that that is a water one. Another person come in the laboratory in a hurry. It drink the water because it is very thirsty one. It causes a very serious accident. So what is the precautionary measure? As we know that there are millions of compound in our laboratory which are colorless, like that of the water. So never understood that is a water. Always be take serious. Never take, never drink, never eat any of the chemical which is present inside the water. Whether it is a water also. अगर वो water भी है तो भी आप उसको ना पिएं. Always wash your hands and go at the eating area in your institution. Then take a food or drink of water in that particular area. So always be serious about your drinking or the eating habits in the chemistry laboratory. Now the next point, if that particular incidents occur, then if you have inhaled, move to the fresh air immediately. If ingested, then dilute inactive or absorb the ingested formaldehyde by giving the milk or the activated charcoal or the water. Any organic material will inactivate the formaldehyde. If it come in contact with the skin, flush skin with the plenty of water, whip with alcohol. If it come in contact with the eye, flush the eyes with the plenty of the water. Then how can we clean the formalin spill? Wipe the space with a wetted paper towels. Place the paper towel into a fume hood to minimize the inhalation exposure. As we all know, we generally instruct all the students can never take any of the substance in large amount during any of the practical to bring out the greener technology. So in the research lab, any of the incidents, any of the accident can take place at any of the time. For example, during the drying process of some of the solvent where the sodium can be used generally for the drying of the benzene or any other aromatic substance like that of the benzene ring. Generally, we use the sodium wire. We have a apparatus in which we put the sodium, and like the simple juicer, if we move it, then the benzene comes out in the form of the wire. Then we put that wire directly into the benzene because the sodium never react with the benzene. So the sodium can be used for drying of the benzene. So any of the incidents can occur during that particular step. Before any of the person for cleaning the flask, what will happen? When she returned to the lab, any of the person when returned to the lab, anything, any impurity, any other substance which gets spread over that sodium piece, the particular person forgotten that is a sodium here, sodium is lying there, because dust or any other substance gets settled down over the sodium pieces. As she poured the water into the flask containing the sodium, an explosion shattered the flask into thousand of pieces, and that piece may go into their eyes. So it is very necessary to wear the safety goggles. So what are the precautionary measures there? Always wear the lab coat, always wear the safety goggles. Never forget to wear these lab coat or the safety goggles in the chemistry laboratory during any of the experimentation. We all know all the chemicals in the chemistry laboratory. These are chemicals. Even water is a chemical. So due to the high reactivity, due to their reactivity, avoid contact with the water. Use tweezers to quickly pick up the metal and put it into the container of the mineral oil. Make sure the container holds enough oil so that all metal is fully immersed. Close the container and dispose of as the metal waste. Very small pieces of the sodium can be destroyed safely by reacting with the ethanol. Don't use methanol. Now the next point. These are the very basic point which must be, जो कि सारे बातें हैं, ये बड़ी बेसिक चीज हैं जो हम सभी को फॉलो करनी चाहिए. वी मस्ट ऑल हैव टू फॉलो ऑल दीज इंस्ट्रक्शंस इन द chemistry department, in the chemistry laboratory. Always wear the safety mask. Use a flashlight to check around the mercury droplets, that they must have rolled away underneath the furniture, because the mercury will reflect the light. Sprinkle mercury absorbent powder over the affected spill area to amalgamate droplets that are too small to be seen. Sweep up the reacted powder, place it in a heavy duty plastic bag or container with the lid. Thoroughly clean the area with a soap and the water. Dispose of collected mercury and all the mercury contaminated powder and the items, as these all are hazardous waste. Now we will see what type of things must be present in the laboratory. For example, the cotton, bandages, gauze, adhesive tape, seizure, these must be present in the laboratory for the cleaning, whipping, bandaging of the cuts or the wounds. Band-aid must be present. Micropore tape must be present for protecting minor cuts. Dettol, Savlon, or any other disinfectant soap must be present in the chemistry laboratory for cleaning the hands. But these Dettol and Savlon can never be used in case of the major cuts and the wounds. Ice packs must be present in the chemistry laboratory for all type of wounds. The distilled water ampoules must be present for cleaning the eyes. Bacterial must be present in the chemistry laboratory, and that must be mixed with the water and can be given orally for the person which are feeling weakness, faintness, nauseatic, etc. Also give the fruit juice to them. Alcohol or the spirit must be present for cleaning the wounds, for washing all the organic compounds which are present on the skin. The sodium bicarbonate, that is the 1% solution, which always must be present in the prepared form for washing the acidic organic compounds if that particular acidic organic compound fall on the skin. 1% acetic acid solution up to 10% may be used, but very light dilute solution can be used for washing the acidic organic compound from the skin. 1% ammonia solution must be present in the laboratory for washing the bromine from the skin. The glycerine must be present in the laboratory, especially for the bromine spill after washing with the ammonia solution. 1% boric acid solution can be present for the eye washing, mild eye cleaning solution. That boric acid, you know, that is used that is a simple powder for, that is the carom powder. The charcoal tablets or the universal antidotes, these are mixture of two parts of the activated charcoal, one part of the tannic acid and one part of the magnesium oxide, that must be present in the laboratory, which must be crushed in the mortar and pestle. Give that particle powder orally with the water in case of the ingestion of any of the poisonous substance. That is the antidote for these poisonous substances. Betadine must be present in the laboratory, which act as an antiseptic cream, which is used for the burns, wounds, etc. on the skin. Crocin, paracetamol tablets must be present. Generally, for these hectic experiment, when we feel uneasiness, we feel mild headache, fever, etc., then these crocin or paracetamol tablet can be taken orally with the water. Stemetil MD must be present in the chemical laboratory, which act as an antidote against the anti-nauseatic, which can be taken orally with the water. Neprocyan, which must be present in the chemical laboratory, which generally been used during the headache, especially for the migraine, that can be also been taken orally with the water. Colimex, which is a pain reliever, especially for the menstrual period, generally been used for the girl student, that must be present in the laboratory. Tricane MPS, that is an antacid that is taken orally with the water in case of acidity or the ingestion of the acidic substances. Milk of magnesia, that is a basic substance which acts as an antacid taken orally with the water in case of excess of acidity or the ingestion of the acidic substance. You know, in our stomach there is an acidic medium. If the acidity is much more greater than that particular basic any normalized acidity, then we generally take the antacid tablets. Soframycin, which is used as an antiseptic cream used for the burn, wounds. Silver sulfadiazine, that is also an antiseptic cream used for the minor burns on the skin, not to be used for the allergic persons which are allergic to the sulfur drugs. Use Bernol in that case. Means that is a Bernol, which is also an antiseptic cream which are used for the minor burns on the skin. Chloromycetin, that is an antiseptic cream for the eyes. All these first aid measures, the suggestion which are discussed here in today's lecture, these are the preventive one and only the first aid treatment. Please take the victim to the hospital or the any other health center for further if the further major accident occurs, and these are only the indicative of these minor injuries. In case of the serious injuries, all of you please take it very seriously and give immediate treatment with the help of the doctor, health centers and the hospitals. Don't take it lightly, never take it lightly. So thank you. These all are the very important safety measures, different chemicals, different things which must be present in the laboratory. If something incident occur in the laboratory, then these things must be present in the laboratory in the form of the first aid. Perhaps, hopefully, you all have enjoyed in this lecture. That is very important lecture for your preventive measures, for the first aid measures before रीच टू द डॉक्टर. हम डॉक्टर के पास पहुंचे उससे पहले प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स हमें क्या लेने चाहिए या फर्स्ट एड मेजर्स हम क्या लें अगर कोई भी एक्सीडेंट माइनर या मेजर अगर केमिस्ट्री लेबोरेटरी के अंदर हो जाए. तो इसलिए इन सारी बेसिक चीजों का हम सभी को ध्यान रखना जरूरी है और इसको अवेयर करें अपनी सोसाइटी के अंदर भी, क्योंकि इन छोटी छोटी बातों का सिर्फ और सिर्फ केमिस्ट्री लेबोरेटरी वाले टीचर्स, लैब अटेंडेंट, स्वीपर्स, उन्हीं को पता होना जरूरी नहीं है. हर पर्सनैलिटी को, whether it is a teaching or non-teaching person in the school, college, institutions, in the society, in any of your colony, neighbor area, everyone must have the complete knowledge about all these. क्योंकि सभी के बच्चे स्कूल में, इंस्टीट्यूशंस में, कॉलेजेस में कहीं ना कहीं तो पढ़ते ही हैं और कभी ना कभी वो केमिकल्स के कांटेक्ट में आ भी सकते हैं, डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली. किसी भी कॉलेज के अंदर केमिकल लेबोरेटरी तो होती ही है, तो उसके वेपर्स, फ्यूम्स तो उस नियर बाई एरिया में भी जाएंगे. तो इन सारी चीजों का ध्यान रखना जरूरी है. तो इसलिए सभी स्टूडेंट्स जो भी इस लेक्चर को अभी सुन रहे थे, उन सभी से निवेदन है कि वो इसको फर्दर अवेयर करने के लिए ये सारी बातें नोट डाउन करें और फर्दर स्प्रेड करें इन सारे प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स को, फर्स्ट एड मेजर्स. थैंक यू.